A Step into the Past Volume 24 Chapter 12. Book 24 Chapter 12, Safely Back at Xianyang. The minute Xianyang touched the ground, he immediately plastered himself to a dark corner of the wall. He could hear Cao's faint footsteps, guessing that he must have blown his top and is descending the stairs in pursuit. Scanning his surroundings, he caught sight of his 100 battle scabbard lying a short distance away from his feet. Hastily picking it up and tying the saber to his back, he exerted a huge amount of energy by climbing back to the top of the platform via the grappling rope. Cao is obviously no longer on top of the platform. Prostrating on the floor, Xiang peeped down and observed Cao running past the bottom of the platform. At the same time, he detected rustling of leaves and branches on his right and left, a sure sign of ambush. His assassins must be in a state of confusion after failing to discover his whereabouts. He counted his blessings for the close shave. If he had logically walked away from the grappling rope, he would have stepped right into their trap. His plan to return back to stargazing platform is a brilliant stratagem. Not only can he spy on the enemy deployment, he could take a breather and bandage his wound. Minutes later, he obseiled down the southeastern corner of stargazing platform. Recovering his grappling hook and rope, he borrowed the cover of the vegetation and scampered to the south wall of Xianyang College. He is well versed with the surrounding terrain of Xianyang College and is aware that a thick forest exists beyond the wall. The forest provides a favorable condition for his getaway. By now, he has recuperated some of his stamina. While it is insufficient for a proper fight, it is more than enough for him to make his escape. Somersaulting over the high wall, he used this opportunity to shoot the fire arrow that was meant to signal Li Yuan to him. Subsequently, he raced at full speed towards the predetermined point where Xiao Yuan had left the snowboard. This is a distraction ploy, intending to lure the enemy to the place where the arrow was fired. He wanted to mislead the enemy into believing that he was injured and immobile, and was forced to ask for reinforcements. Running non-stop for 100 feet, his knees suddenly buckled and Xianyang fell flat on his face. It turned out that the ground is still covered with snow that runs a few feet deep, making it extremely arduous to walk. Though Xianyang is fitter than the average man, he just fought a strenuous duel and suffered an injury with major loss of blood a week ago. Unable to catch his breath, he was seeing stars for a few seconds before nearly blacking out. The freezing snow splattered on his face reignited his senses. Glancing around, he saw total darkness everywhere. Fortunately, far behind him, he could decipher the lantern light from stargazing platform. Like a lost sailor who has found his guiding lighthouse, he was pointed to the right direction. Xianyang forced himself to climb back to his feet and staggered along the snow to a nearby bush. Diving into the clump of greenery, he collapsed and sat down to rest. The starry night is simply enchanting, but Xianyang is in a state of panic. With his worn-out and tired body, there is no room for appreciating these wonders. Closing his eyes, he resisted the urge to pass out due to a lack of oxygen. Gritting his teeth, he strained to stay awake. After much difficulty, he managed to harmonize his breathing. But when he opened his eyes, he instantly knew that he is in trouble. Under the illumination of the bright moon and the twinkling stars, the footprints left by his staggering is completely visible. It was truly shocking to see the footprints accurately leading to his present location, clearly identifying his hideout to his pursuers. At this juncture, he could barely keep himself from fainting. Standing up is totally out of the question. Despite the chilling winter season, his entire body is covered with sweat. His ears picked up the sound of footsteps approaching. More than 10 human silhouettes emerged at the edge of the dense forest several feet away. Moving their feet high and low to trespass the deep snow, they are advancing towards him. By simply following his footprints, they can walk straight to his hiding spot. Xianyang thought to himself that it is game over for him as he watched the enemies come closer and closer while there is nothing he can do. By just traveling another 300 feet through a sparse forest, he would be able to reach the hill where the snowboard is hidden. It is truly excruciating to lose at the edge of victory. Even if he could force himself to start walking, the enemies would quickly catch up due to his feeble legs. He would rather reserve his strength to take out as many assassins as he could to vent the anger in his heart. With this notion, he untied the 2 flying daggers around his calf and hid them in his hands. If not for the enemy's refusal to light a torch, they would have seen him by now. The sound of hoofbeats suddenly arose. The assailants were taken aback. A lone rider appeared out of nowhere and loudly bellowed, "Who are you people?" Recognizing Cao Kaihudeo's voice, Xianyang was overjoyed. Keeping his flying daggers, he tried standing up. With zerk, zerk sounds, the group of attackers unexpectedly started to shoot arrows at Cao Kaihudeo. Cao Kaihudeo let out an angry snarl and unleashed a flurry of sword brilliance. Broken arrows rained down around him, demonstrating their uselessness against his skills. Xianyang finally managed to regain his foothold and began jogging towards his prize. Behind him, tragic cries filled the skies. Apparently, an incensed Cao Kaihudeo has embarked on a killing spree. Baffled by his sudden burst of energy, Xianyang actually made it into the forest before collapsing again. Noting the sounds of running and galloping all jumbled up, Xianyang deduced that the ambushers are running their lives in multiple directions. Xianyang can finally put his mind at ease, thinking that with the enemy swordsmen running all over the place and leaving their footprints, his own virgin footprints would not be as obvious as before. Lying prone on the ground for some time, he slowly got back on his feet before proceeding forward once again. Out of the blue, hoofbeats can be heard approaching towards his back. Petrified, Xianyang squatted down behind a tree. Within the sparse forest, it is pitch dark and it is not as open as the space outside. There is no fear of someone noticing his footprints. It appears that in his rush, Cao Kaihudeo must have forgotten to bring his fire stick. Otherwise, now would be a good time to light a branch or a torch to see his way. Xianyang dare not breathe loudly because in this instance, Cao Kaihudeo has arrived at the other side of the tree where he is hiding. Riding a horse, Cao Kaihudeo was panting heavily. If this sword saint had traveled on foot instead of riding a horse, he would have collapsed beside the tree. Cha! Xianyang groaned to himself, realizing that he had made a wrong guess, for this is the terrifying sound of the lighting of a fire stick. Xianyang dared not waver. Pulling out a flying dagger, he leapt out and threw it towards the neck of Cao Kaihudeo's horse. The horse uncontrollably neighed and broke out into a frenzy of jumps, throwing Cao Kaihudeo off its back. The fire stick flew out of his grasp and landed somewhere far away as the forest was enveloped in darkness once again. Xianyang burst out laughing, "You are trapped. Watch out for my flying dagger." Sounds of a person rolling on the forest ground can be heard as a disconcerted Cao Kaihudeo scrambled to find a hiding place. Aware that his ruse has succeeded, Xianyang hurriedly summoned his remaining energy and climbed towards his targeted hill as quietly as he can. In terms of his stealth ninja skills, even 10 Cao Kaihudeos cannot match his agility. Gradually recovering his strength, Xianyang has left the sparse forest and is presently scaling the eastern face of the slope. When he was about to reach the summit, Cao Kaihudeo's angry howls reverberated behind him. Xianyang was infuriated. Picking up a 10 kg rock that happened to be beside him, he weakly threw it towards Cao Kaihudeo who was hot in pursuit. After flying for 5 feet, the rock simply landed on the slope and began rolling down. Cao Kaihudeo dodged to a side and successfully avoided the rock. However, due to the wet and slippery slope, he stumbled and lost his balance. Rolling straight to the bottom of the slope, he was a pathetic sight. Xianyang thought, "It is high time you have a taste of dirt on your face." Continuing his ascent, he barely reached the top when a pair of beautifully crafted snowboard and snow skis entered his sight. Lying beside them is a neat and full backpack. In his heart, Xianyang dedicated his thanks to Xiaoyuan in heaven. Using all his muscles, he sprinted to his resources and swiftly inserted his feet into the leg openings that Xianyang had fashioned with thick rope. It felt as if he was putting on a pair of tight-fitting boots. As Xianyang was slinging the haversack over his back, Caokihudeo happened to appear behind him and he thundered, "Where do you think you are going?" Standing up, Xianyang cheerfully laughed, "Back to Xianyang of course. Little old fella Kihudeo, let's never meet again." Caokihudeo is now only 10 feet away from him. Arching his body and powerfully digging the ski pole into the snow, Xianyang propelled himself off the hilltop and zoomed down the slope like a gust of wind. When he turned his head back, he saw Caokihudeo's massive frame standing in a daze at the top of the slope, losing all his desire to continue the chase. Xianyang kept skiing as the wind whistled in his ears. In a matter of seconds, he is miles apart from the abandoned Caokihudeo who is still surrounded by darkness. In his heart, he was deliriously happy. Although his body is aching all over, his heart was singing a song that was either composed by Xieziwan or Feng Fei, which he could not specifically recall. Except for Xianyang, he does not hold any responsibilities towards anything or anyone. Beneath the brightening sky, Xianyang bent over a stream and swallowed several mouthfuls of water. Feeling much better, he sat down on a huge boulder beside the stream and opened up the backpack that Xianyang had prepared for him, wishing to obtain some food to fill his empty stomach. Inside the backpack was a map with directions to Zongmu and some money for traveling expenses. There were also food, clothing, medicine for wounds, fire starters, etc., showcasing Xianyang's thorough thinking in packing everything that he would need on this journey. While opening the map, a roll of parchment was discovered. The parchment is filled with words and it was unsigned. It read, "By the time Xiaolong reads this letter, you should have defeated Caokihudeo and safely left the boundaries of Linzi. Elder brother has a secret that I can only reveal at this point in time. The 10 strokes agreement between Xiaolong and Caokihudeo is something that I made up. That letter never reached Caokihudeo. If not for this ploy, Xiaolong would not dare to fight. If you chose to flee and skip the duel, the damage to your reputation is far worse than losing your life at the hands of Caokihudeo. Xiaolong would have lost the most critical factor in the campaign against Lu Bue, your confidence. In the heart of Crown Prince, you would no longer be the hero who chooses death over injustice. Of course Xiaolong would not hold it against me if you are able to read this letter. Otherwise, there is nothing worth saying. Elder brother would rather see you die under Caokihudeo's sword than to be labeled as a coward and a weakling. See you soon." Reading the letter, his whole head turned numb, not knowing whether to find it amusing or petrifying. Actually, several loopholes have been spotted. For example, Xiaoyuan is constantly reminding himself that Caokihudeo may dishonor the 10-stroke agreement whenever they talked about it. In addition, he would be having a peculiar expression on his face. It can be considered that Xiaoyuan is using Xianyang's life as a gambling chip. Fortunately, he won. Although he did not really defeat Caokihudeo, at least he didn't lose the fight too. Even Caokihudeo had to admit that it is possible for them to end up in a double KO scenario. Filling up his tummy, he took a nap before speeding along the stream in a southwesterly direction. In the evening, he found himself a decent cave and started a fire to keep himself warm. After a good night's sleep, he would continue his journey the next morning. This soon became a standard routine and 5 days later, Xianyang found himself in the territory of Wei en route to Zongmu. At this juncture, he has arrived at the northern shore of the Yellow River where the river water is beginning to thaw. In his heart, he knew that by sailing up north the river, he would reach Zongmu in a day's time. Presently, his greatest concern is that Teng Yi and the others have retreated from Zongmu. If this is true, he would have to continue his arduous journey to Xianyang itself and he may run out of provisions. The fact is that snow is melting around him, leading to extreme temperatures that he finds unbearable despite piling on all his clothes. A person with a weaker constitution would surely fall ill. In the middle of his worrying, 3 large ships were seen sailing against the sunset. An agitated Xianyang prone himself behind a massive boulder and eyed the ship. After identifying the flag on the main ship, Xianyang leapt out with delight. Standing on the most prominent rock he could find, he lighted his flare and began signaling the ship with Qin's military signal. The Qin sailors on board the ship were instantly alerted and started crowding at the bow while shouting at him. The 3 ships sluggishly drew closer to a part of the muddy riverbank that has a gentler gradient. Xianyang was mad with joy, feeling like a wanderer who is seeing his relatives again after leaving his household since he was a kid. Kicking the snowboard away and discarding his ski poles, he ran towards the shore like a lunatic. The first of the colossal ships is nearly reaching the shore. More than 10 planks were lowered and pushed against the bank to prevent collision. A crisp and powerful voice rang out from afar, "Xiaolong, Xiaolong, it is us." Xianyang was so shaken he fell flat on his face. He could recognize Teng Yi's familiar voice. Beyond his wildest imagination, his ears also picked up the shrieking and crying sounds of Ji Yanran and Zhao Ji. Lord Chongping is also shouting his name out loud. An exhausted Xianyang kept his face buried in the mud. He was finally home. Turning back, the enormous ships sailed against the current. In the main hall of the ship's hull, Xianyang has changed into a new set of clothes and is surrounded by everyone like a superstar celebrity. Due to their pining for him, Ji Yanran and Zhao Ji have grown thinner. Till now, they are still smiling among their tearing, a picture of both happiness and sorrow. Sipping the hot tea served by his wives, Xianyang faced Teng Yi and Lord Chongping, articulating, "I finally understood the meaning of worlds apart. It did cross my mind that I would never see you guys again." Throwing herself into his bosom, Zhao Ji wept even harder, frightening Xianyang into consoling her with kind words. Ji Yanran had better self-control than Zhao Ji and had recomposed herself by now. In a melancholic tone, she updated, "We did consider committing suicide to prove our dedication to you. Fortunately, we heard about your arrival in Linzai and the entire family went crazy with delight." Yanran and Sister Qing cast aside our duties and seek an audience with Crown Prince, beseeching him to send a force to fetch you from Qi. A restless Lord Chongping interrupted, "The Crown Prince is more anxious than anyone else," and immediately commanded little brother to drop everything at hand and depart for Linzai without delay. To our anguish, the trip was postponed because the river had turned into ice. Actually, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Otherwise, we may have missed each other and it would be a wasted trip. Teng Yi added, "Although we received the report from Jing village, there was still no sign of third brother and we feared for your safety." Xianyang inquired, "How are the others doing?" Lord Chongping replied, "We have come to an agreement with Zhao and our forces have retreated from Zhongmu. Presently, Jing Jun and Huan Qi are holding the fort at Tunliu. Xianyang's army has quelled the chaos caused by Pu Hu and ruffled the feathers of Zhao. Your accomplishments are admirable." Xianyang sighed, "If my accomplishments are truly admirable, Zhou Yang and my other brothers need not die in a foreign land." Teng Yi reasoned in a deep voice, "Wars are made this way. Regardless of victory or defeat, injury and death is inevitable. Third brother need not blame yourself. Li Mu is really formidable." Lord Chongping wondered, "Didn't Lu Bue travel to Linzai as well? He probably did not know you were there too." Xianyang bitterly laughed, "The exact opposite is true. Not only did we drink wine at the same table, he even personally escorted me to my duel with T.A.G. The crowd went hysterical. "What?" Xianyang gave a detailed description of what transpired in Linzai, causing everybody present to be tongue-tied and shocked beyond their senses. Of course he did not divulge anything about Xiao Pan's identity crisis. Her curiosity aroused by his story, Zhao Ji forgot to cry, but her body is still plastered to his chest. When she heard about the part that Shan Ro has settled down, she sat up and noisily wailed, why would Sister Ro get married and keep us in the dark? Xianyang quickly explained that Xie Ziwan is an ideal partner and Shan Ro had made an excellent choice. However, Zhao Ji remained doubtful. Ji Yanran was inquired, "You didn't see Godfather around?" "He must have." Xianyang continued telling his amazing story with all the twists and turns. Once completed, he stretched his back and decided, "For the time being, all I wish for is a good night's rest. I hope to wake up and find myself already in Xianyang." Xianyang has changed into a military uniform and is standing at the bow of the ship. Standing beside him are Lord Chongping, Teng Yi and Jing Jun, who joined them on the way back. From afar, nearly 100 battleships were lined alongside the river in an awe-inspiring formation. 2 hours later, they will dock at Xianyang. The white, snow-covered environment is gradually being replaced by signs of the spring's arrival. The fluttering clouds, the raging waters, the lush greenery of willow trees that lined the two sides of the shore. Staring intently at a long-tailed blue bird that was eventually startled by his passing ship, he recalled the months of living life as a fugitive, which is in total contrast to his current state. With the limitless ocean and sky for him to roam free, he feels like an uncaged bird. The only issue plaguing him is, what is the outcome of Xiao Pan's identity crisis? Xianyang used this break to question, "Recently, are there any major developments?" Lord Chongping answered, "The King of Han just passed away and he is succeeded by Prince An, who subsequently sent a peace emissary to us. In return, Crown Prince has asked Han's King An for Han Fei to come over to Qin. Han's King An has yet to give us a reply." Xianyang nodded. Crown Prince has always shown his appreciation for Brother Han Fei's theories of governance. If Brother Han Fei can put his talents to good use in Qin, that would be a good thing. Ji Yanran sighed with a breath instead but kept her silence. Xianyang pressed him for more details. Lord Chongping suppressed his voice and added, "The Empress favors Lao Ai even more than before and promoted him to become Marquis Changzin. After the promotion, Lao Ai shares the same rank and salary as Lu Bue, causing him to behave in an arrogant and insufferable manner." Xianyang thought to himself, "This is the year of Xiao Pan's coronation and it will mark the end of Lu Bue and Lao Ai. It is just too bad that the two of them have no idea about what's coming." Quietly pondering on this, Xianyang deduced that Zhu Ji and Lao Ai are even closer to each other because of two reasons. Firstly, Zhu Ji is suspecting that Xiao Pan is not her real son. Secondly, she thought Xianyang is dead. Be it mentally or biologically, Zhu Ji does require a man to fulfill her needs. Jing Jun jested, "Now that third brother is returning to Xianyang in one piece, I bet some people will be pretty disappointed." Zhao Ji cheerfully added, "Hubby has been away for nearly 2 years. You would be surprised at how much Bao'er has grown." Ji Yanran joyfully chirped, "If not for Bao'er, Sister Wu would surely join our expedition. Little Zhen and Little Feng are unable to come along too, and because of this, they did weep for several days." Xianyang made inquiries about Wang Jian. Lord Chongping whispered, "Let's talk about it after meeting Crown Prince." As Xianyang glanced at Lord Chongping with astonishment, the latter winked at him, forcing Xianyang to bear with the temporary ignorance. Xianyang longingly exclaimed, "I am finally home." Xiao Pan has received news of his homecoming and personally left the city to welcome him. This future Qin Shi Huang is finally a grown man and even kept a short beard. With a broad chest and thick back, his every gesture carries the aura of an earth-shattering emperor. At his first glance, Xianyang had the impression that he is facing a total stranger. Lord Chen Guen, Li Si, Guan Zongzi, Wu Tingfeng, Qin Qing, and several high-ranking officials are in full attendance, leading to a lively and grand atmosphere. Lao Ai, however, is missing. Among the booming drums, cackling of firecrackers and music playing, Xianyang disembarked his ship and stepped onto shore under the escort of his companions. Taking the lead, Xiao Pan stepped out and supported Xianyang, who had kneeled down to pay his respects. Scrutinizing his skinny complexion, he sighed, "It has been hard on great general." Within Xianyang arose a bizarre feeling, it is as if their previous intimacy is gone with the wind. Besides Xiao Pan not displaying sufficient agitation at seeing him again after so long, Xiao Pan's eyes seemed to be concealing something he could not decipher. The other officials separately came up to offer their congratulations. Without any reservations, Wu Tingfang leapt into his bosom. Qin Qing obviously could not do the same thing in front of the public. However, her eyes are blazing with passion, setting Xianyang's heart aflame. Xiao Pan and Xianyang are riding side by side, receiving the cheers of Qin citizens who have lined up both sides of the street to welcome him. Xiao Pan grinned, "After we received news of great general's disappearance, every household began praying to heaven, wishing for great general's safety and successful return. Their wishes have finally come true." Xianyang had wanted to tell him about Liu Bui's grand scheme but realizes that it is inappropriate to discuss this top secret at this point in time. Holding back his words, he questioned instead, "Is Liu Bui back?" Xiao Pan icily smiled, "Of course he must rush back to Xianyang before Great General. Great General's duel at Linzi is truly spectacular and has achieved the utmost glory for our great Qin. After you left, Cao personally begged the King of Qi for pardon, admitting that he is unable to overcome you. Is Great General aware that once the King of Qi hears about this, he was so upset he fell sick that very day?" Xianyang was taken aback, "Since Liu Bui is back, then let's continue talking in the palace." The corner of his mouth revealing a deep and unfathomable smirk, Xiao Pan waved in response to the crowd's cheering as he plainly state, "Everything is under my control, let's talk later." Xianyang is having that bizarre sensation once again. In a matter of 2 years, Xiao Pan's prowess has increased significantly and is even more unpredictable. It is totally opposite from the past when he was a kid and he would plead, Master, save me." Back in the palace, they conducted a military parade inspection at the main square before Xianyang and Xiao Pan retreated to the imperial study for a secret discussion. When the topic of Han Dan's Zhang couple surfaced, Xiao Pan's royal eyes glowed chillingly as he cursed, "How dare he! This traitor actually had the audacity to leak this information to outsiders. Even if he dies 10,000 times, he cannot atone for this crime." Xianyang was thunderstruck, "Crown Prince is behaving as if you are prepared for this." Xiao Pan sniggered, "Lest you forget, I have planted Mao Jiao the spy within traitor Lao's camp. His every move cannot escape my detection." Feeling an enormous weight lifted off his shoulders, Xianyang was elated, "Crown Prince must have executed some countermeasures." Xiao Pan proudly declared, "If I sent my men to Han Dan after receiving this information, it would be too late. Fortunately, years ago, I did consider this issue and have resolved it." Xianyang can feel a sense of overwhelming fear. In a deep voice, he questioned, "Why didn't Crown Prince tell me about it?" Avoiding his stare, Xiao Pan simply brushed off, "Back then, Great General was far away from Qin and it must have slipped my mind." Xianyang continued to probe, "How did Crown Prince deal with that couple?" Showing signs of impatience, Xiao Pan remarked, "Of course I rewarded them with plenty of money and relocated them to another place, preventing anyone else from finding them." Xianyang's sixth sense told him that Xiao Pan is lying, but if he continues to pursue the matter, it would only increase the unhappiness between the two of them. Thus, he kept quiet. It soon led to an awkward silence. After some time, Xiao Pan broke the silence and sighed with a breath, "Is Master upset?" This long-awaited word Master caused Xianyang's heart to soften. With considerable agitation, he expressed, "You have changed a lot." With his dominating and sharp eyes turning to Xianyang, Xiao Pan looked at him in the eyes briefly before nodding, "I cannot afford to remain the same. To maintain my seat on this throne, I definitely must make the change. But to Great General, I am always a kid." Pausing, he asked after much difficulty, except for Great General, is there anyone else who knows about this secret of mine? Xianyang is conscious that he has always wanted to ask this question but could only ask given the present circumstances. After a quick thought, he replied, except for Ting Feng, not a third person knows about this. Of course he would not reveal Teng Yi's awareness. Exhaling a breath of air, Xiao Pan leaned back on his throne. Raising his head and staring at the ceiling beams, he gently painted, "Bad news travel faster than good news. With rumors flying all over the place, they better not let me hear about it. Otherwise, not only will I kill him regardless of his status, I will also exterminate his clan. Let's see who else would dare to bring this up. HNG, Lu Bue, Lao Ai." Xianyang was greatly shocked. Although these words are not directed at him, it felt like Xiao Pan is hinting him, warning him not to disclose his secret to a third party. He instantly felt uneasy. Without further explaining himself, Xiao Pan leaned forward and whispered, "I have secretly summoned Wang Jian back. He should arrive in Xianyang within 2 months." Xianyang frowned, "You meant you did not consult Empress about this?" His eyes flashing with a chilling aura, Xiao Pan spat with disgust, "Since she no longer regards me as her son, why should I bother to consult her? At Yangdu, she behaves without any inhibitions and her relationship with Lao Ai is now an open secret. Under the skies, who is not regarding this as a joke? It has brought countless shame to our great Qin." Xianyang knows that he hates Zhu Ji for divulging the whereabouts of the Zhang couple. He sighed with a breath, "Crown Prince should remember what you have promised me." He was referring to the promise that Xiao Pan would not harm Zhu Ji no matter what happens. An incensed Xiao Pan glared at him and indignantly demanded, "Up till now, Great General is still speaking up for her." His own eyes brimming with an icy aura, Xianyang stared back at him and insisted, "Yes. After all, she did love you and supported you wholeheartedly and you also treated her as your real mother. If you had put yourself in her shoes, you should understand that the things she does do not benefit her at all. She is simply being human." Xiao Pan appears to be slightly afraid of him and shifted his gaze away to the reports and documents that were piled on his desk. He quizzed, "Most of the reports here are more or less related to Zhenqiu Canal. Recently, I received news, saying that Zhenqiu was in fact sent by the King of Han. What is Great General's opinion on this?" Noting that Xiao Pan had deliberately changed the topic and refused to engage him with Zhu Ji's affairs, Xianyang suppressed his anger and replied in a deep voice, "Your subordinate is very tired and wishes to return home for a rest." Xiao Pan sighed with a breath and bitterly smiled, "Grand Tutor is offended. There are many things I do not wish to do but at the back of my mind, I knew I had to do it. Grand Tutor should also try putting yourself in my shoes." By using another official title to address Xianyang, he immediately increased the intimacy between the two of them. His anger slightly mellowing, Xianyang formally asserted, "This July, Crown Prince will officially be crowned king. By then, all power would lay in your hands and Empress can no longer interfere with your decisions." Sinking his face down, Xiao Pan slowly pronounced one word at a time, "Does Great General knows that Slut has given her seal of authority to Lao Ai, allowing him to use it at his disposal, causing me endless nights of trepidation." Xiao Pan has really transformed into a different person and his relationship with Zhu Ji is obviously beyond repair. Otherwise, why would he use the term slut to describe her, stunning Xianyang speechless. Pong! Slamming his wide and thick palm heavily on the table, Xiao Pan gritted his teeth and cursed, that slut has bore 2 bastards for Lao Ai. One is named Lao Zheng and the other is named Lao Long. What does Great General think about this? If not for traitor Lao and Lu Bue in cahoots and posing a formidable threat, I would have tore him to pieces way before July. Pausing for a while, Xiao Pan's furious expression slowly subsided. With mock amusement, he laughed, "Does Great General know that Lao Ai is labeling himself as my AA fake father and even commented that this AA fake son, days are numbered and the coronation will not be mine but his. Ha! This fool can even dream with his eyes open. I can't wait to witness his terrifying demise. Xiao Pan may be laughing as he articulated these words, but the genuine hatred in his heart is what Xiang Xiaolong finds bone-chilling. Out of the blue, he felt extremely exhausted. Dealing with Xiao Pan is much more draining than dealing with Lu Buwei. How was he to know that this would happen after he decided to bring Xiao Pan to Xianyang?